Cllr, how far is Jozi FM?
They're in the room, Madam Speaker. We can start.
Oh, Jozi FM is also in the room. All right. We can, we're also streaming live.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening to our beloved guests and residents at home who are tuned in on the different social media platforms and radio stations. We apologize for starting a few minutes after our usual time. We do apologize to our followers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my weekly show known as the Talk with the Speaker of Council. My name is Nongceba Mulwele and I am the Speaker of Council. Please do follow us on my own social media page, which is Nongceba Mulwele on Facebook and at speaker_COJ on Twitter, as we are live on these platforms. We are also live on the City of Joburg Facebook page, which is at City of Joburg. Ladies and gentlemen, may we be reminded that this month is an important month in our annual calendar, as it is Women's Month. We continue to pay tribute to every woman and salute her immense contribution in shaping the society. In the spirit of Uma Moshalot Maxeke, I wish all women of our city and our country, especially women who are connected here today. We have special women here who are members of the mayoral committee. I wish them a happy Women's Month. By the way, the new mayoral committee is formed by 6 women out of 10 members of the mayoral committee. So we congratulate and thank the executive mayor for that progressive move of appointing more women in his cabinet. I would love to take this opportunity to thank our host and partner, Dr. Fundile Nyati, for providing us with this platform. Let me also thank our radio partners, Jozi FM, Dumelang, Eldos FM, Good Evening, Chai FM, and Pulse FM, who continue to support us in our endeavor to educate our communities on various topics relating to council business. And thank you to everyone who has joined in for today's engagement. I have been informed that we also have councillors who have joined today. You are most welcome, councillors, on the platform. Ladies and gentlemen, our faithful listeners and viewers, allow me to welcome and congratulate our newly elected executive mayor, Councillor Jolly Matongo, and his team of MMCs who are our special guests on tonight's show. As I said, that he's got 6 women and 4 men in his team. Most of us will remember the untimely and sad passing of our former mayor, the late Councillor Jeffrey Makubo. Following a very challenging time in the city of Johannesburg, we held a special council on the 10th of August, 2021 to elect our new mayor. It was at that council that Mayor Jolly Matongo emerged unopposed as the city of Johannesburg's new mayor. The mayor hit the ground running, and the following day on the 11th August 2021, he consolidated his cabinet, which would be the current team of MMCs that have also joined us today on the platform, as I have mentioned. His Worship, Mayor Matongo, is no stranger to our communities on this platform. Having joined us for a lesson on the city's budget previously, when he was the MMC for Finance. Today, however, it was important for us to host him as the newly elected executive mayor so that we can get to know the individual and allow him to unpack the plans that he has for the city for the next few months. I, together with my co-host, Umushe of Jozi FM, will also give the MMCs an opportunity to talk about their portfolios as well as their plans for this term of office. All in all, ladies and gentlemen, I am really honored to host such a powerful panel, and I must extend my appreciation to the executive mayor and all the MMCs for availing yourselves for this engagement with your communities. Without wasting time, I am quickly going to do a rundown of our guests this evening before we get into the business of the day. May I kindly request that as I call your name, leadership, you switch on your camera so we can see you, and also our viewers on different social media platforms can see your face. You may switch off again if you have issues of bandwidth. So we are joined by His Worship, the son of the soil of the city of Johannesburg, born from Soweto, the Executive Mayor, Councillor Matongo. Welcome, Executive Mayor. All right, thank you very much. We are also joined by Councillor Margaret Arnolds, MMC of Community Development. Ushoti olingana nam. MMC Arnolds, is she here? Is she in the room?
She should be, Madam Speaker. Let me follow up.
Madam Speaker, yes, she's in. Nobisa, can you kindly put her as one of the panelists?
Okay, can you check the MMCs who are not panelists, please, ladies and gentlemen? We are also joined by Councillor MMC Mtoina, MMC of Health and Social Development. Is she on the platform, or she's also not a panelist? Okay, we'll go back to those MMCs as and when they join. We are also joined by Councillor Loyiso Masugu, MMC of Group Corporate and Shared Services, and who is also the leader of the executive business. She will explain when she speaks what is the leader of executive business. MMC Masugu.
Thank you, Speaker. I will do so, and I'll show my video when I arrive. I'm still on the road.
Yes. Yes, you did mention to me. We are also joined by Councillor Mpomwerane, the MMC of Environment and Infrastructure Services.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hope I'm audible. I am here. I'm here to serve the people. I'll show my video when I outline our plans as an Environment and Infrastructure Services Department. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, MMC. We are also joined by MMC Finance, Councillor Matikiso Mfikwe, MMC for Finance. They are saying she's the first female MMC in the city for finance. And I agree.
Good evening, Madam Speaker and MMCs who have logged in. Thank you very much. I am here. The fact is going to be a bit of a challenge because it puts pressure on me, you know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MMC. We are also joined by Councillor Tapelo Ahmad, MMC of Development Planning. MMC Ahmad, who is in charge of the development of the city.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I would like to greet you officially, so greet my colleagues, all the MMCs, acknowledging the presence of the Executive Mayor as well, and greetings to the residents of Johannesburg. Thank you very much. I'll deliberate on the issue when the opportunity arises.
Thank you, MMC. We also have Councillor Thomas Mofokeng, MMC of Economic Development. As an economy, MMC Mofokeng, is he around?
We don't see him, Madam Speaker.
All right, let's pass. We have MMC for Housing, Councillor Mlungisi Mabaso. MMC of Housing, are you here?
Yes, Speaker, I am here. Good evening to you, Speaker, the MMCs, the Executive Mayor, and the listeners who are at homes, and members of the media that are co-sharing with you this session.
Thank you very much, MMC. I'm not sure if you are still the youngest MMC. I know in the previous term you were the youngest. There are MMCs who had not joined. I'm not sure whether they are here now. MMC Mgcina.
Madam Speaker, MMC Mgcina, she's part of the meeting. Nobisa, can you kindly put her as a panelist? She's part of the guest list. There she is, Mcina. Okay, there she is, Madam Speaker. She's part of the panel.
All right, can you check all other MMCs? MMC Mcina, MMC for Health and Social Development, good evening.
Good evening, Speaker. I am
Thank
now a panelist. Earlier on, I was not on the panel.
Yeah.
I'm MMC responsible for health and social development in the city of Johannesburg. We have just achieved the 1 million people who have been vaccinated.
You shall talk about that when the time comes. Thank you very much. We are also excited.
Oh, okay.
Johannesburg is the flag is flying high.
Okay, thanks,
Madam Thank you, MMC. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have to start. I see our guests also are beginning to write messages. They are greeting. There's Lungile Dugwana who's saying greetings to the newly elected executive mayor and members of the mayoral committee. We greet him as well. We have received an apology from Councillor Nonhlanhla Makuba, the MMC of Transport. Unfortunately, she was unavailable to join us on today's program. We shall host her one of the days. To the panel, thank you very much for your presence and you are most welcome. Before I hand over to Moshe, who is my co-host today, let me start with the executive mayor. Mr. Mayor, I know that you have tendered an apology that you will be leaving before we wrap up at 7:30. But before we get into the core issues of governance and service delivery, please just give us a background of the executive mayor. Who is Jolie D. Matongo? We saw the social media and news when you were appointed that you are a foreign national. So maybe it is time that we know you better and your people who are tuned in and who are following us on different platforms know who is Jolie D. Matongo. Over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the warm welcome. Let me assure you and the co-hosts, including the followers of the show, that the executive will work with you now going forward until the end of the term, because we believe the platform provides an opportunity for us to share our plans in terms of what is going to be done, but also gives an opportunity to those that we interact with to raise their issues with us as the executive of the city. I think we are committed, we'll work with you, we'll avail ourselves as and when required. Well, to get to your question, Jolie D. Matongo was born on the 6th of October 1974 at the Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital. He has never been to Zimbabwe, unfortunately, but has been to other countries in Africa and the world. Truth of the matter is that Johannesburg is like a magnet. It attracts a lot of people in South Africa, in Africa, and the rest of the world. My father, being one of them, a migrant from Zimbabwe, came to Johannesburg to seek the opportunities that all of us come to Johannesburg to seek. And he then met my mother, who is from KwaZulu-Natal, Msinga, and that's how I came into being. So I'm a South African. I do have a South African ID. There's no question or doubt about me being a South African. I went to school in Dube Sizanani Primary School, proceeded to Dube Higher Primary, popularly known as DPH, matriculated at Orlando West High School, went to the then Vista University, which is now called UJ, graduated in the Technicon SA, and also graduated BTech degree with the University of Southern Africa. Worked my entire life in various departments and entities, grew up in the struggle, joined the Soweto Student Congress then in Soweto, participated in the Soweto Youth Congress, was a member of COSAS at some point, was the member of the Youth League of the ANC, and ultimately its chairperson in the region of Johannesburg, currently serving as a member of the ANC Regional Executive Committee in Greater Johannesburg. So I'm here. Ndingumntu waseJozi. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ungumuntu waseJozi ngenene, siyakwazi nathi uyiSowetan, uyiJozi, uyi-South African. Thank you very much for that clarity. I'm sure that our followers and the people of Johannesburg know you better. Let me hand over to Mushe. There is, I think it's one of the MMCs who says that she or he is connected through a cell phone. Can we check that, Sipho?
All right. Thank you, Speaker of Council, Councillor Nongceba Mulwele, Joseph and family members. Thank you so much. This is our weekly program where we engage with the city of Johannesburg, as we know that the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg was recently appointed, and we've heard him explaining to us who he is. Of course, Sizanani Primary School is just a stone throw away from where we are broadcasting from here at Joseph. Of course, I'd like to continue engage the mayor, as I've heard that you'll be leaving. Executive Mayor, maybe you can now let's talk about as you are entering the office. We know that you've got only a few months as the executive mayor, but you can kindly unpack your vision, your priorities for accelerated service delivery for the city, and where are your straight focus as the new executive mayor coming through. Maybe you can take the residents of the city through that, executive mayor.
Thank you very much, co-host. I think it's important that we firstly indicate that we are not at liberty to be bringing in new plans as this current executive committee. The council meeting held in May presided over by the Speaker of Council, Councillor Nongceba Mulwele, adopted or approved what we call the integrated development plan, including the business plans of departments and entities. We also approved the budget of our city, which is 73.3 billion, to make sure that the plans contained in the SDBIP and the IDP are realized. Now, I think it's quite important in summary to give people what the issues are, what they can expect between now and the end of the term. Mm-hmm. One of the key things that we are putting on the table is that for Johannesburg to become a world-class African city, it has to be financially sustainable. That is priority number one. But for us to be financially sustainable, we've got to ensure that the rates and taxes are paid by those who consume the services, meaning that we first want to appeal to people who consume our services to pay for the services, because if people don't pay for their services, the bulk of the budget comes from the rates and taxes. So if people don't pay, then we have a problem. But I think the issue would be, but we pay for the services, but the quality of the services is very suspect. But also others may say, but we are paying, but the services are not provided. So that's why in response to that kind of an outcry, we are saying we are going to be implementing our accelerated service delivery program, which the team says to me is a wall-to-wall service delivery program in a ward to ensure that we attend to the problems in the ward. So the approach in the accelerated service delivery program is very basic.
But how do I speak?
We think that we've got to ensure that firstly, we are going to receive a report from the administration to say in Ward 1 in Orange Farm, what are the service delivery failures that we have there? They must tell us there are potholes in this particular street, in this block, there is a blocked sewer main, all the problems of service delivery that the city must attend to. They must be documented, they must be provided to us. We'll then take those and give to the relevant entity. So if you say Ward 1 in Orange Farm, this area has got a problem, the water pressure is not up to scratch, or the street lights are not working, or they are not there. All those problems will be documented. We will take those, give to the various entities and departments who must then give the depots that are servicing those areas. And the expectation, therefore, is that from next week, Monday, the executive mayor, including the team working with the councillors on the ground, will be going across the city to do spot checks, to say to City Power, we have given you a list of street lights that are not working in this area. You have had more than 72 hours to respond to the problem. The street lights are still not working. Can you then come and deal with the problem? So that we don't have a situation where people report these things, the officials sit with them, they don't attend to them, and we expect that there will be changes in the way that things are done in the city. So one of the critical things that we're doing is document the problems, because we all agree, we know the problems. I can assure you, we know the problems. I can assure you there in the studio. When you pass there at the studio, you go past Dube Station, as you go towards, Mfulo, that side. As you get to the curve, the road there is not good. I can assure you, I've been there several times. So we know about it. But the question is, if we know about it, what are we doing about it? So what we want to do is to be systematic, to say, even you there at studio or at home, if you know that there's a service failure, the traffic light has not worked for the past 6 months, that thing must be reported and we must give it to the relevant people who must fix it. And then we must follow up to see if it has been fixed. If it has not been fixed, then it means those that were paying money to fix it for us do not take their job serious. Therefore, I think the honorable thing is for them to go and sit at home so that we get people that can be employed, who can do their job, and we pay them. So that is our approach. It's a wall-to-wall, word-to-word campaign of accelerated service delivery. We are intolerant to non-responsiveness by departments. And I think the culture we are trying to create from now going forward is that the problems must not be attended to because it is the executive mayor that has told City Power that the street lights are not working, or it's the MMC that has reported. The problems must be attended to, even if it's reported by a Brian Maruping in some corner in Omonde View with no status. If a call has been logged, a job card must be issued, the team must be dispatched, the things must be attended to. So that is the culture we want to inculcate among the staff members of our city to make sure that they are responsive to service delivery. Coupled with that is the whole issue of our intolerance to under expenditure of money. Because as the TG of the ANC says, under expenditure of money is a crime against the poor. Now, if we say we are proud that we are leading a city of a 73.3 billion budget, but at the end of the day, at the end of the financial year, 400 million is taken away from us as grants that the national department gives to us because we have failed to provide housing, or we have failed to fix the roads, or we have failed to give people food, or whatever the thing is supposed to be done. Then it means that we don't deserve to be in office ourselves. We should as well leave, because there's no point of us saying the officials must be taken to task, but the executive still occupy the office. So our attitude is quite clear. Service delivery is the first priority to ensure that the problems that people experience on a daily basis are attended to. But if the ones who must attend to the problems are not doing so, we must act ourselves. You must show that you don't deserve to be here. You don't deserve a paycheck on the 27th of each month. You can go sit at home. We'll get a motion to come into the job and do the job and get paid. So that's the thing that we're going to be doing as a critical thing of the program. But this builds then onto the other programs that we are going to be doing. For instance, integrated human settlements is one of the things that we are going to be focusing on, ensuring that we provide social housing, the various programs around the RDP houses in Lufereng and Lehigh and all the other areas. We are going to be ramping up those. We are going to ensure that the community facilities that have been built and are not yet operational are operational. I got a message from one of the councillors in Ward 122 around Lehigh, Vlakfontein area and Zakaria Park, they are complaining. We built a taxi rank, taxi facility. We built a library. Those things have been completed long ago, but they are not open, they are not operational, and people have started vandalizing. So the immediate task for us is to ensure that where we have built a library, where we have built a community facility, those are open, they are operationalized, they are secured, so that our people in those areas have got access and they can enjoy the benefits that come with those particular facilities. The issue of jobs become important for us. I think we can all agree that joblessness is a big problem. As a city, on our part, we are going to be employing 10 people per ward to ensure that they assist the city on a daily basis. So you would expect in your ward that there will be 10 people employed in that ward whose job is to wake up on a daily basis, go around the ward. Part of the things they'll be helping us with is ensuring that the cleanliness of the city continues as a small portion of their work. But big part of their work is to ensure that they identify those problems that are there. There's a pothole there. It's their job to report it immediately, to ensure the depot is aware and to make sure that they follow up that those things are attended to. Pick It Up has got a program to employ cooperatives, which in turn must employ 15 people per ward just to deal with the cleanliness of the city. I think we have received bad reviews in terms of how the city looks, the aesthetics of the city. People are saying the city is very dirty. So Pick It Up is coming on board to help us with that program on the ground. Tonight we are going to the inner city ourselves with the MMCs to ensure that we become part of the cleaning program of the inner city. We are expected to create, according to the plans of the city, about 13,000 EPWP work opportunities, and we are saying to the officials that is not enough. We want to see at least about 20,000 work opportunities that are created, and those work opportunities can be done in a number of areas in our co-production program, because we believe it is not rocket science for people to go out and draw a stop sign. We have seen people employed or contracted to draw a stop sign. Instead of stop, they write stopped. So we can do a crash course. We can train people in basic things around road markings, and we get young people in those particular areas where they live to do these things of road markings. The whole issue of potholes, we can train young people in the art of doing these things, and those things can be done. So we are looking at the Department of Economic Development, Councillor Mufukeng, there to help us ramp up the numbers of the EPWP jobs that we can create. 13,000 is the target, but we think we can reach 20,000 or more in relation to that. The whole issue of youth development is important for us. We have set aside an amount of 90 million over the medium term to ensure that young people in the city of Johannesburg have access to skills development programs. They are enrolled in programs that help them with drug and substance abuse. They are enrolled in programs that can help them with the ICT skills. But our approach is one that says, enroll people in a program like a youth service program, which has got a number of components. Whilst they are in a program, they get trained, they have the skills that are required by various industries. So there's a training component, but whilst they are being trained, you need to ensure that they provide a particular service to the communities which they live in. For instance, if MMC Mabaso were to help us with a youth build program, which is a program that says there's a problem with the housing and there are problems with youth unemployment. How do we get young people to be trained and skilled as artisans, as builders, as plumbers, so that we get the very same young people in a program to build houses? So they get the skills to build the houses. They build the houses, but they also get the allowances that they should be getting in the process. So our approach and orientation is that get young people in a program that empowers them with their skills, but also whilst they're being empowered with their skills, they're also on the ground providing a particular service as their response to the communities, but also empowering them or giving them some kind of economic incentive so that they are able to deal with the bread and butter issues that they face. There's quite a number of programs, Speaker, but I think I'll take most of the time. Let me just conclude by just responding on the other, I think, three key programs that we are doing. One of them, as you correctly said, Madam Speaker, is the issue of, we're in a Women's Month, and I think it shouldn't be Women's Month, it should be Women's Day every day, 365. That's the orientation of the movement. Now, the whole issue of gender-based violence and femicide is one of the key priorities of the city. When we went to Orange Farm with the late executive mayor, may his soul rest in peace, the people there said Orange Farm is one of the hotspots of GBV and femicide. What are you doing as a city? And our response has been that we are going to be setting up a center to deal with GBV and femicide in Orange Farm. It has been done. We have allocated the money for that center to be put up. So what we are going to be doing in the next few months is to follow up with the department to see to it that that center that helps us with issues of GBV and femicide is set up, is functional, and people in Orange Farm and surrounding areas have got access to the services that are provided there. The other issue that I need to talk to, Madam Speaker, we are in COVID. Therefore, a number of our people are not able to go to the office. They are requested from time to time to work from home, which requires them to have access to the internet. So we are going to be rolling out 1,000 Wi-Fi hotspots, free Wi-Fi hotspots across the city to ensure that people that are at home who must work from home are able to do so. But most importantly, our youth and our students who must access the resource materials online so that they are able to do their work, their schoolwork, they are assisted. The last point, Madam Speaker, which I think MMC Mgcina will build on later as you were asking her, is our focus on the COVID pandemic, reducing the impact of the COVID pandemic, because it's quite important that we have a response to COVID. There are a number of things that we are doing around COVID, but I think for now, for today's purpose, is our program around the vaccination drive, appealing to communities to go to our 53 sites that we have set up to make sure that they are vaccinated, because the trick is, the more of us are vaccinated, the more likely it is that the president and the National Command Council will say there's a drastic reduction in the number of COVID cases that are reported per day. There's a reduction in the number of deaths related to COVID. Therefore, it's important that we then move the country back to normality. And I think we all want to enjoy the things that we used to enjoy. We are unfortunate, some of us who are Pirate supporters, who are Chief supporters. There was a derby we couldn't go because of COVID. And I think our elderly, especially the grannies and the opas at home, they really want to be in church. But the churches are saying the over 60-year-olds can't come because of this pandemic. And I think it's important that we send a message out there to say, let's get more and more of us to be vaccinated so that we can then be able to move the country to some level of normality. But as I said, MMC Mgcina will talk about the good news and the things that we are doing in that space. So, Madam Speaker, I think at a high level, let me just stop there. I think there are a number of priorities. There's economic growth, there's a safer city, people are concerned about safety. There's a problems of electricity, especially in Soweto, in Diepsloot, in Orange Farm, Ivory Park. MMC Mweran and the team are there to speak about those things. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg. That is Councillor Matongo, just giving us an overview of what he's going to be doing in just this next few months, saying that there's no really new things, but they will just pick up where the former mayor left off. Let me just give this opportunity to engage. I'm looking at the time now as well. It's only 9 minutes gone after the hour, 7 o'clock, right here on your number one dial and other sister stations. Let me just have an engagement with, they say she's the breadwinner. The city has a new breadwinner. That will be the MMC for Finance. That's Councillor Matsidiso Mfikwe. She's taking up her portfolio of finance. Maybe she can just share with us some of her vision or where she's heading with the department, and as she kicks in or as she starts her work there. MMC Mfikwe.
Thank you very much, Moshe, and to the listeners of Joseph M and the other radio stations. Look, as the executive mayor was saying that we're not going to necessarily bring in new plans because already the processes have moved. I guess what one could say in addition to some of the issues that the mayor was raising is the fact that we just need to ensure that revenue enhancement is indeed enhanced in the city and revenue is indeed collected. Using technology also in assisting communities to access their bills and manage their own bills. There's something that we need to push and make sure that it does happen. Also ensuring that the cyberspace of the city is indeed protected going forward, because we do have groups, ICT in the portfolio. Also working with communities and the crime unit in ensuring that we do respond to some of the challenges that the executive mayor has raised as he was making his input. We can't overemphasize, Moshe, with our residents that the need for them to continue paying for their services so that we are able to continue providing the services that they need to get from the municipality. We do ensure that we will work with the team in ensuring that some of the programs that needs to be done are indeed done. A critical point that the executive mayor has raised with us is the fact that we need to cap wasteful and fruitless expenditure. So we're putting that on the radar screen so that we are able to use the budget that has been allocated in ensuring that we do pay and buy the actual products that we need to buy. So wasteful expenditure and fruitless expenditure, we are going to work at ensuring that it is gone. Given anything, financial sustainability of the city remains a critical point that all of us need to strive to. So all the departments that are contributing into revenue collection would have to ramp up their work, would have to pull up their sources so that we are able to collect what we are supposed to collect as the city. Given anything, we are joining a team, Moshe, a team that has been there, a team that has been doing work. So we have a responsibility to make sure that the work that they're doing, all they were doing is enhanced, but making sure that the city remains financially stable. Thank you very much.
Indeed, I hear you talking about that the city must be financially stable. Okay, let me just now welcome the new MMC as well in the portfolio of economic development. That is MMC Thomas Mufukeng. MMC, you can maybe take us through your portfolio and some of the plans that you have over the next few months for the critical, if one may say as well, portfolio in the city of Johannesburg. That's the economic development.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, you are very loud and clear, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. You know, I'm quite excited to be part of this dynamic team. It is not long that the mayor of Johannesburg has actually appointed me into this portfolio. But I would like to say, you know, when the government of local unity started in Johannesburg, we set forth 4 priorities that I think are very important, not only to the governing parties, but also to the communities out there, because at the Department of Economic Development, we are looking at 4 priorities that has to be taken forth. And the first one being investment attraction in the city. And here we're looking at not only local investors, but international investors as well. because Johannesburg is Johannesburg, and Johannesburg is a city that we all know that it has made its mark even amongst its peers in the international arena. And we just want to keep it right there. You know, my department is important because it deals with all different communities. It deals with what we can regard as the rich or the affluent community and the middle class, and you'll go to the poor of the poorest. So we are excited that you know, we are servicing the three spheres of economical level at the same time. But when we talk about investment attraction, we really look into making you know, preparing the ground and making things to be conducive to for investors to come to our city. And you know, there are many things that we are looking at. The fact that we have seen in the previous years business leaving the CBD of Johannesburg, going elsewhere. We are now coming up with strategies that will bring business right there, because we know that the infrastructure is actually connected to the CBD. So we are actually looking and working very hard on that. And the second, sir, it will be the issue of SMME support. If we are not going to support our SMMEs, I can tell you this country will not be able to put this country where, or will not be able to put our city where it belongs, because through SMMEs, we have quite a lot of activities happening. Job creation is right there, because we all know that small business employ more than what we can call maybe corporates and so on. So we are developing the small businesses through a lot of programs that we have come up with. Amongst the programs that we are thinking that they will improve this is to link our department with business forums that are out there, where we can listen and talk to the business people and say to them, look, what are your challenges? How can we help as the city? How can we improve and help you improve your business directly and indirectly? And by directly, I mean, you know, where we can assist in opening channels for procurement to take place easily through the tender processes and so on. And indirectly, you know, it is where we come into to give people the support that they so much need in starting businesses and doing all kinds of things that I think are important.
All right.
And you know, the third one will be creation of EPWPs in every entity that we have in the city, because we know the mayor has just stressed the importance of EPWPs, and that is where we are saying we need to make sure that the city has people that have access to this job creation. And sometimes you go to big business to say, look, that
there before, you are still continuing with that portfolio. So we are not expecting any changes. We're just expecting an accelerated program.
Thank you very much, Moshe from Josie FM. And let me thank you for giving us this opportunity, the Speaker of Council and the panel members. As you know, Moshe, I'm responsible for environment and infrastructure services, and I will unpack it quickly and very brief. In environment, I have to make sure that the people breathe clean air. We have 6 quality monitoring stations where we calculate the pollutants around the city. And I can tell you now that we are fortunate as a city of Johannesburg that the quality of air is above a standard. We have launched the Climate Action Plan, which seeks to ensure that the city has cleaner and quality air to the residents. We will be now engaging JMPD to make sure that we also stop trucks on the road to make sure that, you know, the exhaust pipes, when they drive, they don't pollute our air. In terms of city power, Pick It Up and Joburg Water, which is under the infrastructure, I think the executive mayor has outlined our plans and has made sure that we, on the ground, as you see now, I'm about to hit the streets. I'll be in the CBD with the executive mayor and the MMCs. We will be joining 300 street sweepers that start working at 8 o'clock to make sure that the city is clean. Moshe, we want to make sure that the residents of Johannesburg, when you wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock, like I do, when you switch on your light, there's electricity. When you go to the bathroom, there's water, you help yourself, you know, in the morning. When you go to the kitchen, you are able to utilize your kitchen utensils without problems, without hassles. When you get out of your car, you drive, there are no potholes. The robots are working, and what we want to do, we want to make sure that your interaction with government is on top. We don't want you to call us because you wake up, there's no electricity, you have to phone. But to cut it short, in terms of city power, we're looking at energy mix, we're looking at gas, waste to energy to make sure that we have sufficient capacity. We are in touch and negotiating with Cllr Power Station to increase the megawatts that we're getting so that when Eskom does stage 2 load shedding, we are able to give that electricity through Cllr Power Station and energy mix. The mayor has touched on the issues in Soweto, Ivory Park, Diepsloot, Orange Farm, and Five Town, because they are under Eskom. We are in negotiations with Eskom to find the most suitable way to provide continuous electricity to those people. We will be making an announcement very soon. Moshe, in terms of electricity, we want to provide a reliable electricity supply. In terms of Pick It Up, as you can see me now, I'm about to hit the streets. We want to see a cleaner city. We are collecting refuse removal. Our target is 98%. We're sitting at 97%. We're almost collecting as we are, but we have a challenge with illegal dumping, which we have a plan that we will deal with it. So most key is recyclable material. We want to make sure that we take less refuse to landfill sites because we're running short of landfill space. So we want to recycle more. That's in short in Pick It Up, as I want to save time. Under Joburg Water, we are providing 99.4 blue drop water quality. We're one of the cities, actually our water, Moshe, is the cleanest. You can be happy to drink tap water. You know, when I joined City Power, when I joined the department, in the past, Joburg Water had bottled water. I asked, why are we not having bottled water? They said, MMC, tap water is the most safest and cleanest in Johannesburg. I said, oh, thank you. We are not bottling it because we are saving the environment. We don't want to create more plastics in our environment. As I said, we are refurbishing our wastewater treatment plants. We will also soon be commissioning new water reservoirs to make sure that at all times people have water. We are putting generators at our pump stations. If we have a load shedding, we will then use generators to pump water so that when there is electricity failure, people don't suffer with water problems. Moshe, I think my boss, who is the executive mayor, has outlined more of our programs. We have a Cleaner Joburg campaign that today we are going back to the streets at night, and also the accelerated service delivery, where we'll be going on the ground to check if things that people complain about are fixed. And I will leave it there. Thank you very much.
All right, Councillor, thank you so much, MMC there, Mpomwerane. I will just maybe talk to Mama Councillor Eunice Mtuna. I know she wanted to celebrate the city of Johannesburg has surpassed the 1 million mark of those who have received their jab. Let me introduce Mama in just a minute, Mama, and then just tell us about your portfolio roughly and some of the key areas that you are going to focus on this term. As we know, we've got only a few months. MMC for Health and Social Development.
Yeah, thank you very much, Moshe. Greetings to all the listeners at home. I think as you have correctly said it, that MMC responsible for health and social development in the city, which is basically 2 departments. We have a whole lot of things that we run in as far as social development is concerned. That's where you find what the executive mayor has spoke about earlier, the gender-based violence unit that is placed at social development, substance abuse, issues of food resilience, issues of the ESP, issues of substance abuse, displaced people and homeless people. That is basically what we deal with at social development. And there are plans and programs in place to make sure that we attend to those particular programs. You are correct as well. We just 2 days ago, we managed to go over 1 million in terms of the vaccinations in the city of Johannesburg. As you all know that the city is an epicenter in Gauteng. As much as Gauteng is an epicenter, the city of Johannesburg is also an epicenter in as far as COVID-19 is concerned. So we have been experiencing a whole number of challenges in terms of the COVID-19, especially with our residents who have not been adhering to protocols of COVID-19. And we still call upon our residents to really and honestly continue to adhere to the protocols of COVID-19, because it's very important for us to fight this pandemic. Otherwise, we want to encourage all our residents to go out in numbers, to go get their vaccines. We have vaccination sites throughout the city, and we have realized that there are areas in the city that still request vaccination sites. We will look into that with the team and make sure that we assemble vaccination sites where there is a pressure as well, where there is a demand. We'll definitely do that in response to the request from the communities. We would also encourage councillors, I think, at this point, to work with their communities to make sure that communities, one, have information, communities do respond to the calls by government to come out in numbers and get their vaccines. Because if we want to fight the pandemic, it means we must all get vaccinated. We want to encourage all our residents to stop listening to all the misleading information that is out there, saying that the vaccine is dangerous for people. People must stop listening to that. People must listen to government and listen to the president. We run, as the city of Johannesburg, on this program of the vaccination and the pandemic itself. We are guided, of course, by national, we are guided by the province. Everything that we do, we always seek guidance from the province as well as national. I know that you are quite tight in terms of time, Moshe. I hope we'll have more time in the next future to discuss around this matter, because it's very important. There's a 4th wave that is rumored, and chances are that it might come, and we need to be ready. And being ready means we get vaccinated. Thank you very much, Mr. Moshe.
Thank you so much, MMC for Health and Social Development. Let me just bring in the MMC for Housing in the city of Johannesburg, one of the topical unit as well, the department. I know MMC Mlungisi Mabaso, maybe within a minute, MMC, just tell us what are we going to expect. We know that last time you were busy also giving people ownership of their properties. That means you were giving out title deeds. So just tell us, what can we expect as you come back for the second time?
Well, thank you, very much once again. I know a minute will not be sufficient for me to address all the issues, but I will try. And I will maybe just outline on the programs that are priority for us. Because I'm coming back for the second time in this office, and there were a lot of programs that we're implementing on the ground, and we are continuing with those programs. In the last financial year, we had identified 12 informal settlements that we have started with the upgrade, where we are providing services like your water, your electricity, and your access roads. In this current financial year, we have added 30 informal settlements, meaning that we are now dealing with 42 informal settlements that we are upgrading. We are continuing with the hostel redevelopment programs. We are also continuing with providing title deeds to the owners of houses that were allocated previously. And in this current financial year, we are also targeting to issue out 3,000 title deeds. And I know we are going to exceed that target like how we did in the last financial year. The repairs and maintenance in our flats and old age homes, we are continuing with that. And we have started a new mega project, which is Hot Run Development, which is a new development, and it's adding up to the 5 mega projects that we are currently having in the city of Johannesburg. And we are putting more resources on flips so that we are able to provide those that do not qualify for bonded houses, but also do not qualify for BNT houses, so that at least we give them an opportunity to own houses. We are continuing with the Cape Town. Cape Town is one of our priority projects, and we are going to start with Extension 7. The procurement process is towards the end now, and we are going to introduce that program in the current financial year, so that we continue with the development of Cape Town. The service stands. We are busy because there are sites that we identified. We are continuing to put in the services there, so that we are able to provide people with service stands for those that will be able and that will have financial muscle to build houses for themselves. So in a nutshell, I think just to sum it up, those are the programs that we started in the last financial year. The only thing that we did was to put in more resources so that we are able to continue with those programs, because we have come to realize that they are assisting us, in fact, to address the housing backlog that we are facing in the city of Johannesburg. It is not much, but we have to start somewhere, and we are confident with all the programs that we have introduced that they are going to assist us, to try and address these issues, because we are still battling with the 1996 and 1997. And our focus, even in the allocations that we are doing and the one that we are going to do in the future, we are going to continue to prioritize 1996 and 1997. I know there are houses that are going to be ready at Lufering, and we are towards concluding the substation that we are constructing at Cllr, so that we are able to electrify all the units and allocate the 96 and 97. And my last point here, because I've been given a minute, I want to address once again the issue of scam that is going around on social media, using the name of the MMC, that of the department, and that of the city of Johannesburg, to say that there are platforms, official pages that we use as the Department of Housing and the city of Johannesburg, where when we disseminate information to our residents. So how the information has been disseminated is not how we do it, and we under no circumstances will ever ask our residents to pay a certain money for allocation into RDP houses. So people must not entertain these people, and they must make sure that they do not pay even a cent when these people ask them, because people are using our names to scam people, and people are using our names to rob people. So we need to protect our residents so that they don't fall into this trap where they will find themselves having to pay for something that they are not going to get at the end of the day. So thank you very much for the opportunity that you've given me. I know a minute is not sufficient to address the issues of houses in the city of Johannesburg, but I will respect the time that you have allocated to me.
We'll arrange for one-on-one to further clarify some of the things. Speaker, I think that's where I will conclude with you this evening, and I know you'll proceed with the remaining other MMC. Of course, I think we can also have one-on-one with all the MMCs just for them to outline some of their programs from their respective departments. I know there are a number of challenges that the city we are faced with, and some clarity are needed. Madam Speaker, thank you so much. And as I hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Moshe. We shall indeed invite one-on-one MMCs so that we have enough time for the MMCs to unpack their program to the communities of Johannesburg. I see there's a lot of interest. There are so many chats and questions and messages that are coming from our viewers and the communities. And unfortunately, there won't be time to read all of them. But one of them is about electricity. Councillor Moerane, I'm not sure if you are still there. So, but let us.
All right, that's where we'll conclude our discussion.
Thank you very much, Moshe. I will also be
the
joining MMC Moerane and the team. Thank you very much, Josie FM. Let's hear from MMC Masuku. MMC Masuku, congratulations on your re-election as the MMC for Group Corporate and Shared Services. Please take us through your unit. And what are your plans for the remainder of the term, and how do you plan to professionalize the public service? Because the workers that the mayor was talking about are reporting directly to yourself. So what are your plans? MMC Masuku.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and good evening. Well, Group Corporate and Shared Services is really an enabler. It's a department that assists the city of Johannesburg. All these departments that do all this work, they rely on Group Corporate and Shared Services to function optimally and ensure that there's optimal corporate support. So one of the important elements is obviously ensuring labor stability. It's an important element because if you are in an environment where you are dealing with employees and unions, you have to be able to ensure that you engage, you listen, and you interact with the union representatives who represent employees, and to ensure harmony in the institution for the good of the employees. If employees are unhappy, you can rest assured that you are not going to have an environment where they will work. So services are going to be affected. That is why it's important for them to have access to skills development, access to incentives, and access to wellness programs so that they are able to function optimally and be able to provide effective and efficient service delivery. Linked to that then becomes the point about them being skilled internally so that they develop as people. But secondly, one of the things the mayor spoke about earlier was youth and skills development. My department also deals mainly with that. We will be advertising bursaries now in the month of September, October. So young people are encouraged to look out on our city websites to access those. On a monthly basis, we advertise internships, and we are looking at increasing the number to at least reach 600 so that more young people have opportunities, and we increase the capacity by also linking with institutions of higher learning. So we are working on an MOU with the CJC College, TVET College, to ensure that young people in the TVET colleges have access to skills. Madam Speaker, one of the most important things also that I think is top of my agenda, it's to provide comprehensive fleet services. Because as MMC Moerane and the mayor are going out today and the workers are there, if there are no comprehensive fleet services, functional trucks, on time, working, serviced regularly with fuel, which falls under my department, then it hampers on service delivery. So top of my agenda is to deal with this issue of contract management at an internal and an institutional level. So mine is really a department that enables departments to work. JMPD can't enforce bylaws if they don't have cars. They can't stop you and enforce bylaws if I don't have. And my role is to make sure that they have those. So in summary, really, that I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much, MMC. Indeed, as you say,
Well,
your
what
department
is
is
LOEB? What is LOEB and what does it do?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, LOEB, what does it mean? And also, as you explain LOEB, MMC, the mayor earlier spoke about people who are check collectors. So what do you do in a case of poor performance or non-performance?
Okay. LOEB is leader of executive business. What that means, it means it is a link between the executive and the legislature. Just for the benefit of our residents, there is the executive, there is the legislature in line with the separation of powers, and then at a national level, you'll then also have the judiciary. So in the city, you've got the executive and the legislature. The legislature's head is the Madam Speaker, then the executive is the executive mayor. But because there has to be synergy and ensuring that there are smooth flow of processes as it relates to preparing agendas for council, to ensuring that the executive provides responses to the residents through questions of council, through processes of motions. The executive then is enabled to receive that information timelessly through the leader of executive to prepare so that in council, residents and councillors are able to receive that. So in essence, it is a link between the executive and the legislature. The check collectors, Madam Speaker, you'll be happy to know that when we go to council, and in the next quarter, when we go to council, you'll be so happy to know that we have finally been able to achieve the KPI of ensuring performance management systems are adhered to. Because the problem you have is Loyiso arriving, sitting at a desk and not working optimally, but at the end of the day, Loyiso receives a full pay of a salary without having achieved the work that Loyiso is supposed to do as per his scorecard. So what we are doing now, which is something that is proving to be very effective, we are enforcing performance management. Senior managers have to now, at a level in terms of hierarchy, they have to also ensure that they do performance management and monitor their employees. But moving forward in the future, because also what happens is people can clock in and move out of the office, you won't know. In the future, provided MMC Mfikwe gives money, when the mayor now, the new mayor, when he was MMC for finance, he knows I've been begging for an electronic system to manage employee attendance at work. But I'm sure with further engagement, we will be able to then get more money and prioritize, because optimal functionality of any institution depends on the human resources. So if you don't have human resources who are working and providing services and not faking that they are at work, because people fake that they are at work, and therefore that is robbing tax from citizens of Johannesburg.
Okay. Thank you very much, MMC. We appreciate that monitoring of productivity. Hey, time. I want to promise the residents that we shall indeed bring MMCs. Maybe we'll bring 2 at a time so that there's enough time. I see there are a lot of messages that are coming through. And now we are rushing through. We'll read the messages after. We might not even be able to respond to your messages. MMC Mkwena, are you available? Is MMC Mkwena in the house?
I'm here.
Okay, MMC, I don't want to leave you outside. You were invited and from then you are unable to outline. You are very important. Our security depends on you. Our security are in your hands. MMC Mkwena, please take us through the portfolio of public safety.
Thank you very much.
Women and children. Thank you.
Okay, do you want a camera on or am I okay without a camera?
A camera, please, MMC, so that the residents can see you. If you have a problem with your bandwidth, you can switch off again.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as you indicated,
just a little bit up so that we can see your whole face.
Can you see me now? I think you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you.
Okay. Okay, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. You have just indicated that I'm heading a very important department in the city. And you'll recall that GDS, one of the priorities of GDS is a safe city. We need to have a safe city. But I'd like to say that before I actually enumerate what we do in the city, to say that as departments, we cannot work in silos. If we work in silos and not synergize our activities, then we are not going to achieve what we want to achieve. Our strategic objectives are not going to be achieved. I'm saying this because when we speak about safety in the city, we speak up also about the linkage with smart city. Smart city meaning that we should utilize technology in order for our officers to be able to use cameras and to use other technology as their tools of trade. So it is a synergy between the safety department, between ICT, smart city initiatives that we have in the city, as well as having synergy with other departments like Department of Environment, department that is headed by MMC Arnold's Department of Communities and Social Development as well. Now, here are the activities that we have in our department. We conduct drug search and seizure. And most of the time, we get information from communities that are very concerned about the prevalence of drugs in our city. They assist us a lot. Officers cannot do their work without getting information from, I'm sorry, MMC, Speaker, there's a problem here. Okay. Residents, officers. Am I okay, Madam Speaker? Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you.
Yes, Mahadi, we can see you.
Okay. I'm saying that officers cannot function without getting information from residents. So we'd like to implore our residents to give the department information. They don't have to divulge or identify themselves. They just have to give us information without telling us who they are, so that when action is taken, officers cannot go to people and say that you got information from so and so. We also do outreach programs for residents. We go to schools to teach learners about road safety, to teach learners what to do in case of fire, especially during the winter period and this period where there are fires, there are shed fires, and people most of the time don't know how to deal with fires. So we teach the young ones to go back home and teach their parents, because parents learn a lot from their children. Then we have speed enforcement. I think you'll understand that, especially over weekends, despite the fact that we have lockdown regulations, people just fly on the roads, especially where they realize that there are no officers on site. So we have speed enforcement, and we also would like to implore motorists to please try and reduce their speed, because we have lost a number of residents due to people just flying and not observing the speed regulations. We do events management. Where there are events, we assist residents to conduct their events, and where officers are needed, they are present there to assist our residents. Accident investigations. Where there's an accident, there are investigations, and there's fatal and serious accidents, then there are reports relating to that. We have, when residents report corruption, we have internal investigation on that. I've heard people saying, no, we can't report this because nothing is done. Nothing will be done if people do not report what they are seeing in relation to corruption. Officers are required to wear their name badges. If they do not have name badges, please write down the registration of the car, the area where a transgression or corruption has taken place, as well as the time. When you do that, then you are making it easier for our internal investigation department to investigate any forms of corruption. So whenever there's corruption, please do not keep quiet. I see people speak on social media and they expect us to take action. If we do not have information regarding what has taken place or the transgression that has taken place, then you are unable to do anything like that. I would like to implore also our residents to please work properly with our officers. It is very disturbing to see sometimes on social media residents insulting, assaulting police officers. That is not right. Because when they retaliate, it is not a resident that is wrong. It is a police officer that is wrong because they're not supposed to be having an altercation with residents. All they have to do is to educate residents, tell them that this is what you are not supposed to do, or this is what you are supposed to do. Let me cite an example of masks. People don't like wearing masks. But then I've noticed that our officers on the streets don't fight with them. They request them to put their masks on. And when they are requested to do that, most of the time they fight. We have security services in the department. The security officers you see in all the buildings belong to the safety departments in the city. So if you see anything unbecoming relating to the presence of a security officer that would leave their posts, we know that they do that most of the time. Please do that. There is a number that will be provided. I don't have it readily available now, but it can be at a later stage be provided to residents so that they can report those activities, unwanted activities. We have a licensing department in the department. We have a licensing in Langlaagte, Midrand, Randburg, Roodepoort, and Sandton. And we are aware that people are experiencing problems in relation to renewing their licenses. That is not because the city is unable to do that. The city is an agent. We work with RTMC, and sometimes when we provide information to RTMC, then there's a breakdown of technology. So it is not the city that's responsible for that, but we have put measures in place. We have said that we are going to work until 6 o'clock in future, meaning 18 hours, so that people that come back from work and want to go to one of those licensing departments to renew their licenses can do that. Licensing departments work until Saturdays, they are open, and you are looking at opening on Sundays if there is a demand for that. So people should not be scared to come to us or to contact us to seek information as to how they can renew licenses. They cannot be arrested for non-renewal of licenses, but we can assist them to go to centers that will be open for them to be able to access those services in the city.
Okay,
I do not know.
Much, MMC. I'm going to cut you now because of time. We have to finish at 8, and we still have 2 MMCs that need to give us some highlights. But like we said, that the departments are very important. The safety of the citizens, crime is very high. You are also one of the MMCs that we'll have to bring back to the show. Thank you very much, Erakadi, and sorry to cut you or to interject.
Okay, Madam Speaker, I'll come back to the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MMC. Thank you. May I quickly request Councillor Margaret Arnold, MMC Community Development, if you could please take us through your portfolio. I know you have swimming pools, you have cemeteries. Just a summary, please, MMC. MMC Arnolds, are you available? Okay, let's pass. MMC Tapelo Ahmad, development planning, the spatial disparities in the city, development planning, the planning of the city, people who are building without plans. Please take us through just for a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I'd like to greet the colleagues. So mine would be also in line with the theme of the invite, which is Women's Month series. I also navigate and also identify in my presentation on how do we empower our female counterpart. It's very imperative as well, because they are amongst the marginalized, and you can't redress the spatial injustice in exclusion of empowering our female counterpart. So planning, we are custodians of the SDF, which is a policy framework, and the capital planning process. So the SDF, it's a policy that would identify challenges and opportunities which are within the city. Remember that each and every household in the city of Johannesburg, every time they wake up from the bed, they are interacting with us from the planning point of view. And every time they go back to bed, they interact with us from the planning point of view, because by virtue of them being in that household, it is as a result of us planning for that particular house. So we deal with issues of urban sprawl and fragmentation. And we also address the issues of spatial inequality, and also which it is inclusive of job housing mismatch. Job housing mismatch, we know that apartheid, our past, the history, has segregated communities, so much so that we need to take into consideration that the country, South Africa, in its stats, it is the second after the USA, which has a huge amount of females which are single parents who are looking after those kids. And how do we address those issues? How did we come about having more women? We know that our parents, they were moved from the inlands, and they were brought to create the economies of cities in various communities. And some of them, they found themselves in trouble. The male counterparts, even when you look at the scientific calculation, the insurance or financial sector will tell you that males are a major risk as opposed to our female. That is one of the fundamental issues that has created the gap. So we also deal with the issue of inclusion and the disconnect in terms of the vast majority of the country are disconnected from the opportunities. The African ethnic group, which is inclusive of Black African, colored, Indians, etc., are placed in the peripheries of the city of Johannesburg, and such as the northern part of Johannesburg, which is the region A, and the southern part of the Johannesburg, which is the region G, where the vast majority of the country or of the city are the marginalized group, which have a minimal access to opportunities. So we addressing those issues by integrating the space, and we integrate by bringing a mixed model and accessibility. Through the accessibility, we also bring the corridors of the economy, or the corridors of the economy, and the TODs, which is a transit-orientated development, which is a mixed model that it is inclusive in its nature. And then we are also a regulatory body. We regulate the previous speaker, MMC for JMPD. There are issues that we would work with her in terms of enforcing the bylaws in the city of Johannesburg. The speaker, in her introduction to me, she spoke about those particular bylaws in particular. to say we need to enforce the laws. We shouldn't leave lawlessness in our city. And then we also promote the urban development. So we are also doing oversight of a municipal-owned entity. Because of time, Speaker, I'm trying to summarize. A municipal-owned entity, which is the JDA, which takes priority on SMMEs, empowering the SMMEs. And we are trying to create a space where we can even infuse more females in a construction sector, where females can also play a role in planning, and females can also play a role in a construction sector. And JDA has put through the programs of the executive mayor, which he indicated, Deep Sluat, Ivory Park, Orange Farm, at Kliptown, where the marginalized are housed. It's one of our priorities to also transform. The JDA is an implementing agency. It takes the job specs from sister departments. Maybe the health and social development wants to build a clinic. They would come to us and we implement the clinic on them. We charge them a commission. The community development, the ComDev, they want to build a library or a swimming pool, they come to us. And then, yeah. So briefly, that's my presentation, Speaker. I hope that will be called in our next engagement. And I would like to believe and also reassure the residents of Johannesburg to say planning or development planning, it's one of the key department of the city and major department of the city, because everything emanates from planning. Everything that you see from the infrastructure or the cosmetic infrastructure of the city, it started from planning. We built the roads for the Rea Vaya, we built the Rea Vaya stations. There's agility. There can't be economic empowerment except us building the roads. So yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. Let me leave it there and then we'll engage the residents in our next encounter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, MMC. Certainly, this show has been a marathon. It has been a marathon. People want to hear more from their leaders. They want to hear more on the service delivery implementation plans. There are so many. We are going, I'm going to ask the team to make sure that these comments and questions and challenges that are reported by citizens here on the platform find their way to the executive mayor's office as well as to the MMCs. Team, if you can package them according to the MMCs and the departments and forward these comments to MMCs. Where possible, if there are contact numbers, also put the contact number so that the MMCs can communicate with the residents who have reported problems here. Some of them are congratulating the MMCs, they are saying good work. So unfortunately, to our viewers, we do apologize. We normally give you an opportunity to express yourselves and we read your messages, but unfortunately today we can't. We have gone beyond 8 o'clock. I'm not sure if the executive mayor is still connected. I know he's now on the ground. It would have been nice, Mr. Mayor, if you are still connected, just to say a parting shot and maybe if possible, we see where you are working. I will be joining you soon, but if it is possible, just for the community to see that you are in overalls with your team and you are on the ground. Is the mayor still connected? I know he was connecting in the car.
I think Mr. Mayor is no longer in the room, Madam Speaker.
Okay, all right. All right, he's no longer in the room. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me thank you for this powerful session. Thank you to our powerful panel and listeners at home who took time to watch this. Was the longest show ever. We normally finish at 7:30, but it was very important. It showed that our people have been thirsty to see and to hear from their city leaders. So as we have promised, we are going to request the MMCs, even the mayor, to come back next time. Thank you very much to the stations, to the radio stations who have tuned in, radio stations that will also be broadcasting even tomorrow. Joburg Pulse, Chai FM, Eldos FM, as well as Josie FM. Thank you very much. We know that your listeners have also made comments here on the platform. Thank you to the executive mayor and all the MMCs. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. We will keep on having these sessions and empower our citizens. Thank you so much. See you next week, Wednesday. And good night. And thank you,
Madam
to
Speaker.
Good night, Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
MMCs.
Thank
Good
you.
work,
Night,
Madam Speaker.
MMCs.
Thank you, MMCs.